Okay, so thank you for joining in. I'm Modesty, your host still. And the webinar is titled Youths as Drivers for Sustainable Development and Building Sustainable Business Models and Youth Leadership. So this topic was chosen to help encourage youths, to encourage young people to take active roles in their industries to drive innovative and sustainable practices and across like our various industries, as also to also encourage young people to influence in the policies, to also drive like environmental activism, to shape corporate responsibilities, and to like explore and integrate sustainability in entrepreneurship, like renewable energy, ethical consumption, social enterprises. So I studied artificial intelligence, and one of the main things that we always focused on was the ethical considerations, the ethics behind this, how is having an impact in the environment, how is having an impact with people's lives generally. So this is also like kind of an encouraging event, and is going to also help us to be innovative, to be creative in ways to help people what's it called? In ways to help people to apply things that we've learned and things that we are learning. So our keynote speaker for today is Winifred Owuna, and she's going to give us very beautiful ideas today, and she's also going to explain the things that we need to also apply to us. So I'm going to read her bio now. So she's an energy consultant with Matrika. Her work centers on developing sustainable solutions that not only addresses global energy challenges, but also lays the foundation for long-term stability and growth. And she has been actively involved in shaping the future of energy through strategic insights and industry expertise with a focus on energy transition. So she's also an author. She wrote the book Empowering Niger's Energy Revolution. So it's a book that presents a roadmap towards advancing Nigerian's power landscape. So it provides a comprehensive analysis of Nigerian's evolving energy sector. So exploring innovative strategies for overcoming some of Nigerian's electricity challenges. So through her work, she aims to inspire more stakeholders, policymakers, and industry professionals to embrace the transition to renewable energy, to eradicate energy poverty, and improve quality of lives. So she's committed to driving meaningful change within Nigeria's energy sector, and she remains passionate about improving access to reliable power across the country. So our speaker for today is Winifred Owuna, but before she begins her presentation, I would like us to put where we are joining from. I'm currently hosting this event from the UK, so I would like us to put in the comment sections where we are joining from, and so we can just get to know each other, get to engage before she starts her presentation. I would read them out as you drop the comments. Okay, we already have like two there. So we have Mr. Logan joining from Canada, Toronto. We have Chidera joining from UK. I'm still expecting to see more people, just so that we can have, okay, still expecting to see more messages. Okay, so we have Mr. Bemi joining from Scotland. Thank you very much for being part of this meeting. Okay, we have Mr. David joining from the UK also. Okay. Okay, so trying to also kind of wait for more people to join in, so we'll be able to start the presentation, and we'll have more time also for questions at the end of the presentation. So, okay, so any... Okay, in the absence of more messages coming in, we are going to go straight to our keynote speaker for today. Welcome, Miss Winifred Owuna.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Modesty. You have done a very good introduction there. Kind of saves me all of the stress, because usually I just say I'm Winifred and I just go ahead with my presentation. So, right. I am very excited to see that this is a Nigerian audience. I could be wrong. Please, if you're not Nigerian, just pop it in the chat. I will see it. I'm particularly excited it's a Nigerian audience because over the years when I've gone for conferences, although there are a lot of Nigerian professionals, they don't generally have any interest in things like this. So I'm happy this is a Nigerian audience. But please, if you're not Nigerian, I'm sorry, just pop it in the chat. I will apologize to you. Right? So today we're going to be looking at a very interesting topic, youth as drivers for sustainability development, right? Although I genuinely would like this to be very interactive, because I think we're about to have a proper discussion, just because time is limited. I literally had to run away from my office to do this. I'd say if you have really interesting questions, just hold on to it. Please don't forget it. Just hold on to it. Write it down if you have to. There's a session for questions and answers, and please, we'll get to that. Just because I've noticed sometimes during a presentation, although the questions are very relevant, it can skew us away from the topic that we are discussing. And I hope to make this really quick, just so I don't waste anybody's time. Very simple, just so all of us can relate to it. Straight to the point, we save time and we can get on with all the things we need to do for the day. Yeah. Right, that's the topic for the day. And just before I get into all of it, the content, we're going to, of course, introduce the topic. We'll look at the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. We'll look at the role of youth in sustainable innovation, how we can build resilient models, business models with our generation and, of course, the next. And then how we can inspire leadership for lasting positive impact. And of course, things we have to do so we can empower the youth to drive this sustainable innovation. And then conclusion, yeah? Hopefully, this cuts across everything you expect from this webinar. If not, of course, there will be more webinars to come, right? So before I start, if we are talking about sustainability development or sustainable innovation, these are two words we can break down. The first part is the sustainability part. We keep talking about sustainability, but what does it mean in respect to what we have in mind, to the context that we have in mind? A very simple definition of sustainability is just a way to use what we have, something we already have, or something we are about, something that's been existing. How can we use it in a way that it doesn't cause harm to the environment, it doesn't cause harm to the economy, it doesn't cause harm to the society? It's an all-round thing. How can we use what we have in a way that it doesn't cause harm to anybody, to the environment, to the society, and to the economy? Innovation on its own is just a process of turning new ideas into reality, or just improving the existing ones. And when you bring these two words together, it means how can we create something? This thing we're about to create can be from something existing. It can be that we're using something existing to create this new idea. They go hand in hand. However, the end point of this thing is it's sustainable, we're not causing harm to anybody, to the society, to the economy, to the environment. So that's a very basic breakdown of sustainable innovation. So just to make it a bit, Well, I hope I could send these slides to everybody, but that's a breakdown of what sustainable innovation is, just because I sometimes have an audience of people who don't really understand English. Please, this is not this audience at all, at all, at all. So you have to break these things down in a way that anybody can pick it up. Even if someone is new in the space, the person can pick it up and run with the idea. Now, just for the sake of, defining it here, sustainable innovation, it addresses global challenges. Now, this can also be local. Uh, Too many times people also come up with really good innovation for local problems, local challenges or limitations that they could see in, could be their school, could be their workplace, could be their society, could be their immediate state, country, whichever one. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be a global, make any global impact. Although they say little drops of water makes an ocean, right? Collectively, these things become very impactful at a global stage. However, you know, if we're looking at driving, especially Nigerian youths, into being impactful on the global stage, we have to also encourage them to look within the society, within wherever they are, that they can make those changes and then scale it up to a global recognition, right? So if we're looking at issues like climate change, resource scarcity, how can we develop solutions that can balance the environmental, social, and economic priorities? And as a youth, you might not necessarily know how this can affect you. Some of our youths still have their bills paid, good for them. And some of us don't really, some of us are in careers where we don't really need to bother. So for people who are very passionate about this space, how does it impact you? Before we go into that, we have to know what the goals are, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You can have good intentions and innovate important things, very crucial things the society might need. I'll give you an example. Wind turbines. Wind turbines were fashioned, designed, manufactured. We needed them, renewable energy. Everybody was dancing around for it. But lately, we've come to realize that wind turbine blades, the big blades, it's like a fan, the blades are not sustainable. You cannot recycle those blades, and then they end up in landfills. Now, that gave another rise to saying, okay, what we have innovated is very good. I mean, we're generating renewable energy, but the technology behind it is not sustainable. Do you understand? The innovation is good, but it's not sustainable. Now imagine having billions of those wind turbines in the world, and whenever there's a problem, we can't recycle it, we can't reuse it, we can't repair it. So we go back to manufacturing another one. Imagine what it would look like in the next 50 years, just what it would look like in the landfills. So first, we'll have to look at the goals in place. What are we working towards? The UN, thanks to them, already, of course, they have all these meetings all the time. They've come up with 17 sustainable development goals. I don't know how visible this is, but we're looking at no poverty. I don't know how possible that is, but we're working towards it. Zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality. Be very careful. They might call you a feminist. Clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. There's reduced inequalities, the sustainable cities and communities. I found that very interesting in my master's degree. There responsible consumption and production, there's climate action, there's life below water, there's life on land, there's place and justice, strong institutions, there's partnership for the goals. Now, if we look at all of this, these are just on global scale. If we begin to break, we don't have the time, but if I pick even one, we're all Nigerians here. If we pick any one of these, we can see how much it could be directly, it could be indirectly, how much we have suffered, how much we're still suffering, and how much we're still likely to suffer in the future if we do not begin to tackle each and every one of these to make sure that we develop business models. We work towards meeting each of these goals for ourselves, for our generation, for next generation, and for the world at large, right? When you have some time, please, once you Google 17 sustainable development goals, you can begin to go into depth of what each of them represent. You can pick any one of it. If you're new to the sector, and that is the most beautiful thing about this particular industry, it is new for everybody. It's not like engineering. It's not like medicine. Yeah. Medicine is not new, although it continues to evolve. However, the renewable space, the sustainability space, everyone playing on this field, everyone in this sector, in this industry, it is new to the world. It's nothing less than more than 50 years old. Check all the research that has been done from ocean cleaning, microplastic, whatever, recycling. It is new. People might have mentioned a few things in the past, but nothing as strong as, oh, this is now an industry where people can actually play and make money from. People are getting onto the awareness that has been created in the past. Everyone in this field is new. So there's so much room for research. There's so much room for your idea. There's so much that you can do. A lot of people are investing in this sector. There's so much that you can do. You just have to, sit down with these goals, bring it down, break it down, think about it. Just there's no limit to what you can think about anyway. No matter how crazy the idea is, you just might be solving a world-class problem, right? So whenever you have time, just get on with it, read up a bit more about it if you're very passionate about this space, and see what you come up with. And we'll be here cheering for you. Now, if we go into what the role of youth is really in sustainable innovation, why do we need the youth to get onto this bandwagon? First and foremost, I'm going to give a scenario. Most of us might be millennials or Gen Z, I don't know. And we might think we're tech savvy. We might think that, oh, we're very good. What we're doing, we've been doing something the same way for the past 20 years. It could be at your workplace. It could be in your family. It could be in your estate. There's already a structure. People are doing the same thing. It could be working or not. Yeah. And then one day, a young person who could be several years younger could just say, why do we do it like this? And you sometimes find out that you don't have an answer to that question because you don't even know. You just realize that you've been doing this thing the same way because other people taught you to do it this way. And now that someone is raising a question as to why are we doing this like this? Why are we running this manually? And you go, I don't know. That's how we've always done it. And they go, why can't we just do this and this together? And you're like, I don't know. Well, we could try. You just might have discovered a better way to do something that you've done repeatedly for the past, I don't know, 15 years. Is someone speaking to me?
You can go and mute the person.
Okay. Right. So the essence of fresh perspectives. In fact, in my company, sometimes when we go through recruitment, we just want fresh graduates. I joined our company as a fresh graduate, not a fresh graduate in my life, but fresh graduate from my master's degree. And I knew nothing in the renewable energy space. I knew absolutely nothing, just whatever my thesis was from uni, whatever I've read up online, but I had no industry experience. Prior to that, I did have a lot of experience in oil and gas, but renewable energy engineering, it was just whatever I learned from uni, right? But when I joined, there was a product that was in use. And when I used it, I was like, I don't like how this feels. Can we change this to that? And they're like, okay. So fresh perspectives. You need people who are younger to look at something. I mean, it not when we say younger, we're not discrediting any ideas older people might have. It's not, we're not trying to age shame anybody. It's just somehow younger people just pick up on things really quickly because it's their age. when we were children, you saw how we migrated from phones that were not very smart, and we started trying to use smartphones, and then we got onto the laptops, and then just like that. I remember when we're using typewriters, whatever, and now people are now using laptops. However, you can see a 10-year, what is 10-year? I have a 7-year-old cousin who beats me at whatever game he plays. I don't even know what he does. I just sit there and but these people they don't have to learn. They just get on with it. So when you bring their minds together in a space where they have no limits to what they actually think about, you don't have to limit how a particular thing works. You would be you'd be in awe what they can think. You'd be in awe how they can merge one, two together to come up with something really world class. So your perspective as a youth, your curiosity, your mindset, it's something, first of all, you need to improve on. You need to work on that, because if you're always consuming, I don't know, if you're consuming things that are not very, depending on the space you want to be in, you might not really make any change. So you have to leave your mind, make sure your mind is very sharp. But that's one reason why we need the youth in this space. Another thing is your ability to get on with technology. You have to leverage that capability that you have to, think about a situation and see how you can make it better. For my project in my master's degree, I had what's it called, supervisor. She was a lady, and she kept saying, I don't have a structure. I don't have an expectation. I'm saying this because I think it's very, very important for you and for anybody you want to mentor and for people who are probably mentoring you. She said, I don't have a structure. I don't have an expectation for this project. I just want you to think about this as freely as you want. And when I tell you, and she said, no idea is too crazy for me, but it has to be crazy enough. When people do that for your mind, you might even go into shock, the kind of ideas you begin to entertain. And for my project, we're looking at how we can clean up the ocean. Of course, there are different ways to sieve it, to, trying to clean up microplastics. Now, microplastics are plastics that you know, depending on the size, some of them you might not even be able to see. How can we sieve that from the ocean? And I didn't know anything about the oceans, and that was when the research started. But when we started looking at it, got to the point where I started thinking about how offshore wind turbines can help us. So offshore wind turbines in the ocean can help in cleaning out microplastics just using electrical resistivity. That's what your mind can achieve. If someone doesn't say, oh, I expect you to write only 5 pages, you must do this, but no, no, no. People just let you do the thinking and you put yourself up to work and you subject your mind to do the work, you'll be in awe. So get into that space where you understand that you can do this. You're tech savvy, you can learn anything on YouTube. Put yourself to it. Open it, use the data for something more interesting. Look at what people have done before. You have the energy to do it. You have the time to do it. Then get on with it and get it done. And the last part is the social and environmental responsibility. The mantle is on us now. We cannot, it's like a government going from one tenor to another tenor, and they say, oh, and they keep complaining about what the previous tenor has done. No, the mantle is in our hand now. What do we do to correct as much as we can, to create awareness as much as we can, to get everybody onto this bandwagon where we preserve the earth, we make it better than it was before, for the next generation? We have to commit ourselves just enough to make sure that among us, we're able to build better business model, turn the existing business models into sustainable ones, make sure that further from now, the innovations that we are setting up in our time are better than what we've had in the past. Now, the next generation will find some problems with it, but they will look back and see how much we have done. If we look back, we're always grateful for bridges. Yeah. bridges, train stations, trains. These are marvelous innovations. Wow, wow. It will blow your mind anytime. Even though you say, okay, from now we start using, what's it called, the smart trains, that's fine, but that doesn't discredit how much work was put into the previous kind of trains. So we can always make it better, better than it was handed down to us, and then we hand it over to the next generation. And that is the whole idea, while we need the youth in this space, and that's the role of the youth in this space. Yeah. If we move on to the business models that we're building for the next generation, with the next generation, we're looking at something, it has to be innovative. It's not, I mean, people can do, if we don't improve or get new ideas, imagine a world where nobody's trying to improve anything. So whatever we had in the 1950s, whatever kind of car we had then, whatever kind of houses we had then, that's what people are still using now. There will not be a lot of things that make life easy for us. So we have to be able to make sure that whatever business model we are initiating is innovative. That idea has to be innovative. So that is the first criteria for building recent, I'll call them recent business models. And then the next thing we have to say, this idea is innovative. Go back to the wind turbine illustration I gave. This idea is innovative, but then is it sustainable? You have to break that business down into from manufacturing, from design to manufacturing to, is it sustainable, to the mode of payment, people who are going to buy from you, people who you're selling to, how are you selling to them? Down to profit making. Is this a sustainable model? Yeah, I'm going to maybe give another example. Writing on paper is fantastic. The whole idea of a pen on paper, that was an innovative idea. But if you think about it on a global scale, it wasn't very sustainable, right? Because we had to cut down trees to make paper. Now imagine how many trees are cut down daily to produce the quantity of paper we have in the market. So there's demand for it, there's supply. However, we're going to run out of trees. And imagine a world without trees. That is not sustainable. So someone else can come up with an idea, or have come up with an idea to say, right, we can use a particular kind of tree. Maybe this tree, it takes 3 months to grow. We cut it down, we plant more, we use a particular site, we map out areas where we cannot cut trees, deforestation, or we just go on with massive afforestation. We can do that. However, someone else came up and said, we can just go paperless. Why do we really need this amount of paper? In my office, I don't know the last time I wrote on anything. Whatever you're writing on that paper, if you check your phones now, you have notes. You don't need a pen and paper. You go to your offices, you have notepad, you type in whatever you need. There's really no need for paper and writing unless, the letter writing thing, emails replace that. You see how these are more sustainable practices compared to get a paper all the time, write on it, someone has to cut a tree, close. It doesn't make, over time, you see that there's no need for all of that stress when there's a simpler way to just develop something that replaces the idea. However, the idea itself is beautiful, it's innovative, pen, paper, people write and read and they're like, wow, we go past the scroll, but as you come up with fresh perspectives and develop newer models, you can see that this can replace this and people can move on. And there's no need for us to stay without trees just because we want to write a letter to somebody in our villages, right? Circular economy is a sustainable practice, but I just want to talk about it for a minute or two. I find it very, very, very inclusive in the way that, in fact, if a business model just looks at the circular economy part of it, if it checks all the three parts of a circular economy model, I think that business kind of works because it's looking at reuse, how we can reuse things, how we can repair things, and how we can recycle things, right? And once a business can check these three or either of the three, if we can reuse everything you are manufacturing, we can reuse all parts of it for different reasons, for different events, for other uses, it's perfect. If we can recycle it, even better. If we can repair it, fantastic. We live in a very, one of the goals, the 17 sustainable goals talks about um production and consumption, right? People need new shoes every day. They actually don't wear all of it. The consumption rate for all the things that we produce, I think it's a generational thing where people want more and more and more. And there's no reason why they want more. It's just to show people that you have fashion every day. Do you know how much clothes are produced in the UK alone, in Canada alone, in Nigeria? And then people are now setting up business models like thrift. Those things you don't wear, take it for someone else can go buy them at a cheaper rate, at a cheaper price, or even for free. Charities, even at that, look at what consumption is doing. The rate of consumption is just so high. And then we hoard things, and people are trying to build models that help us to recycle those things. You see, new age fashion designers who don't even want to buy new materials from the market. What they do is they thrift whatever has been, from thrift stores, and they create new clothing, new shoes, that's just for the fashion industry. If you look at every other fashion industry, people are trying to reuse things and encourage that culture of, I mean, if the chair is not bad, instead of just throwing it away, why not repair it? Can we repair this? Can we reuse this? Can we recycle this just before we throw them away? If a business can actually look at that and checks these three sections, I think it's good enough. I think it's good enough. Now, adapting for a green economy, we have to prepare businesses to meet environmental goals and withstand future challenges. Now in the UK, they're beginning to set up some policies to make sure that whatever business from now on, the existing ones, they don't, of course, just do things suddenly. They begin to create policies that gradually help them move from one phase to another. However, new businesses, they are creating policies that can make sure that you must check one, two, three, four items off a checklist before that can be, the permit can be granted to you to run that business. If you want to start a transport company, why are you not using electric e-vehicles? Why are you not, they're trying to begin to incorporate those things more and more into their system. This is how to make sure that new businesses are adapting for a greener economy, right? Please, if you have questions, don't forget them. At the end of this, I'm going to take all the questions. And right, I think I'm taking too much time now, so I'm going to run through this a bit faster. And the next step is how we can inspire leadership for lasting positive impact. I have three things here. There could be more, but just for the sake of time. The first will be exemplary leadership. We must be in spaces. We must select people. We must look up to people who represent what we want to achieve, right? If we want to make sure that we build the youth, they're getting onto this whole, what will I call it now, campaign for sustainable innovation. I'm going to give an example. China, their TikTok is very different. The TikTok in China is very different. And that is what is fueling their, what's it called? Their creativity, the manufacturing, the industry to create things, to manufacture things, to get on with technology, science, because what they show their youth is very different. In their schools, they get them hands-on. These are kids. They get these kids hands-on. We help them with their discipline, help them with whatever they want to create, because that's what they want their future, the society to look like. It's very different from ours and even for any other part of the world because people are free to watch whatever they want to watch. However, the youth, some of them are younger, some of them begin to look at things that might not really be what we want them to focus on. I'm not saying what they're looking at is wrong, but it might not be what we want them to focus on. But that's what they spend time watching, and that's what creates their own reality. That's how they They build their world around what they have consumed, the information they've consumed from those social media. It just doesn't have to be social media. If you want to become, I don't know, a renowned scientist in your life, there are people you need to be watching their programs on their sessions on YouTube, there are books you need to be reading, there are people you need to be connecting with. There's someone that's supposed to be your role model, someone you're looking up to. Oh, I need to do what this person has done. You're trying to reach out to this person. Everybody can be your role model, and that doesn't make the people you're choosing wrong. But if you want to be a renowned scientist, I don't know how Cardi B is your role model. And this is not any shade to anybody, please. This is just me saying it don't connect. People who want to be female rappers, then that's fine. Cardi B can be. People who want to be, I mean, it has to align somehow. So people in this space already, key players in this space, this is a call for us to make sure that we represent what we want the younger people, when they look at, or when they look at us, they say, oh, okay, this person has been able to do this, so I should be able to do this. Make yourself approachable so that people can ask you questions. Make sure you give out as much information as you can in that space. This is something we can do to help the youth. And then collaborative network. This is between everybody in this space. People reach out to you and say, oh, I want to do this. Can we partner on this? And you go, no, I have 12,000 followers. No, you only have 200 followers. I'm not going to. What does it matter? Please make sure, even for you who's trying to do something, reach out to people. It's not a competition. Like I said, it's a very new space. It's not a competition. People are just trying to make sure that we bring our ideas together to, create a better world for all of us. Get into the space. If you see someone doing something you're not doing and they're not doing it right, reach out to them and say, oh, maybe we can do it this way. Maybe we can partner and do this together. Please, can you do this? Don't be proud, don't be unapproachable, don't be just bring your ideas together and work for a common good. It is very important because sometimes no matter how beautiful, how groundbreaking, how innovative your ideas are, if you cannot work with people, you can't really go, that idea is going to die with you. The idea is a huge part of being able to make any impact is your ability to work with people, your ability to work as a team, your ability to bring ideas together, to manage people. It's a very core skill that you might have. You might actually want to add that to your CV. If you're here and you're trying to get a job, being able to work with people is a core skill and it will take you far, so far. It will take you to places where just your ideas, your groundbreaking ideas, it will take you where those ideas won't take you to. It's just some kind of tip somewhere on the side. And the last will be mentorship and lifelong learning, right? Yes, there are people who are your role models, but it's not every day you get to meet your role model. It happens all the time. Yeah. However, you need one person. This is not questionable, it's not debatable. You need one person who guides you. I'm not saying everything this person is going to say to you, you have to swallow hook, line, and sinker. This is not someone you have to worship. This is not someone, no, this is someone who has not necessarily, who has walked the path you're trying to walk. This person has an idea. This person has some experience. This person is a professional and you can ask them questions. So it's a one-to-one kind of coaching, not just like, oh, who will I say now? I don't know. This person is my role model. You don't get to talk to the person. You don't know the challenges they faced. You don't know how they've overcome those challenges. You don't know what their limitations are. You just know at some point in my life, I want to be like this person. But then you have a one-to-one coach, someone who says, I've tried this before, it doesn't work. If you have to try it, if you need to try it, maybe tweak it a little bit, and then you can compare that to the ideas that you have and you see how it can help you. An important reason why you need this is there are a lot of mistakes that are avoidable, especially in your professional career. A lot of mistakes are avoidable. This person has already walked this path. They know where the potholes are. They know how you can avoid it. So you need an open-minded, sincere person who has experience in this field to say, look, okay, we can solve this.
You can
We
go
can,
on, sorry.
that's fine. This is how you can do this. You can go to them and say, oh, I'm trying to do this. What do you think? Can you advise me on how I can? These are things that we need. And if you're already top of the ladder, please, you can provide this one-to-one mentorship. It doesn't have to drain you at your time. Make sure you're finding people to coach. Most of them will listen, trust me. Most of them would not. I wasn't. I'd say I was very lucky, not too lucky, because I do have a coach, but you don't know anybody stricter than this person in your life. At some point after the advice, I go home and I cry, but I wake up and I do it. Yeah. So you choose your method, whatever works for you and your mentees, do it. But just help in guiding people who are new to the industry, who are younger. Listen to them, because we all need that mentorship to move us from one phase to another. Okay. And I think this will be the last slide, empowering youth to drive sustainable innovation, right? First, we need access to resources and funding. There is nothing, if your ideas are so nice, you need money, you need investors, sometimes you even need funding to gain more experience. Do you understand? You need money to execute any idea you have. You need money. Absolutely, you do. Now, unfortunately, actually, the government and organizations they have to. It's an obligation. It's a duty. It's responsibility. It's their responsibility to make sure that they create avenues for youth to access funding, to help them research, to help them with awareness, just to encourage youth in some way to get engaged in things like this. However, um, trying to word this in a way that's very proper. However, it can be very difficult. It's very challenging to get those in the country where we all come from. You either have to know somebody, or you might not even hear about it at all, or something just happens to the funds and the youth don't get that opportunity. But the good thing is, if you're intelligent in the world where we live in now, there's so much information. If you have any link, now people don't even care where you're coming from. If they want to hear from you, they want to see what you can do. There's now social media. Put it on social media. Go on social media. Find these opportunities that give you funding, that give you access to resources and funding for your ideas. Register with them. If there's a competition, if there's some kind of screening, please don't limit yourself. Don't say, oh, everybody that's coming is just from Canada. All these Canada people, no, no, no. Get on. Get on. You don't know, you might have what they're looking for. And half the time, people are not just looking for something you already have. They are looking at the potential of who you can be in the organization. They're looking at the potential, the personality even. Now, this idea you have is great, but that's not what they're looking for. They're looking at bringing you into their organization, or giving you this grant is going to get them this. Do you understand? So you don't know what you have. Just put it out there. Don't be scared. Don't run away from it. Access those things. The scholarship, they want this, they want apply for that scholarship. Chase that knowledge. Just go on and do it. Yeah. Don't limit yourself. Go on and do it. And then education and skill development, please, for the sake of everything you hold dear to your heart, don't stop learning. Don't let the curiosity in you die. Never stop learning. You have one skill, you have something that can help you improve on that skill, do it. At most, it takes 6 months to acquire another skill. So if you don't do it by the end of next year, you still haven't done it. But if you do it by the end of that year, you have one extra skill. You might not use it now, but you'll be shocked at, how much it will benefit you in the nearest future. So please never stop learning. It's very important. You're in like I've said it before, it's a very new sector. So you need it. You need to improve on it. You need to, adapt to the trend. It's evolving daily. Please get on with it. And then the last part, I'm rushing now. The last part is fostering entrepreneurial mindset. The ideas you have, it has to go out there. It's okay for people to criticize us. The book I just wrote, I had to send it to people that I knew we're going to criticize it the most. But that's how you learn. It's a skill that has gone. People don't want to take risks. They don't want to learn. Oh, I don't want to post this. People will now say that. No, let people say it's okay. Keep an open mind and say, okay, this person said this. I don't like how they said this, but maybe they have a point. If you have that mindset, you will go so far because even in the midst of those things, please, you can learn. And the most important thing for you is that you've taken that risk and you're learning from that mistake. You're learning from everything people are saying, and you can better yourself. If you don't take risks, your ideas will never be refined and they're going to die with you. And I really hope that we can take these ideas forward. We can go back to the 17 sustainable development goals, and we can sit with it. We can break it down. We can see how we can collaborate with people. We're not scared to put our ideas out there. We're not scared to reach out to people, get a mentor, think about innovative ideas, build business models that are very, very sustainable, and see how we can push it forward. Who knows? We might have access to funding at some point. And thank you so much for coming. And I think I ate into some time, but apologies for that. So please, the question and answer session is open. If you have any question, I will really need to run at some point because I still have to go back to my 9 to 5. But please let us hear the questions that you have. And if I can answer some of them right away, I'll share my email address, or you can send it to Modesty and she can forward them to me and I'll get back to it, right? But please, it's open for questions and answers now. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Winifred. It was a really amazing presentation. I learned
Thank you.
some few things, and we should think far, we should be creative, we should not be an island, we should have good role models, and we should have also good mentors that we look up to, and we should network with people. So the floor is open for questions now. Is open for questions now. So if you have any question, if you can't speak where you are, you can just drop it in the chat box and I will read it. And yeah, and if she can't answer it now, I would also take it and forward it to her and get back to you on the answers. So if you have a question, you can just unmute and go ahead and speak, or you raise your hand, then I can see how it goes.
Hi, Winifred.
Hi.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. So my question is, how, with looking at Nigeria and how Nigeria's situation is, I'm just wondering, like, how realistic is it to make renewable energy cost efficient for Nigerians in Nigeria?
That's very interesting because I had a chat with a friend of mine in Nigeria today. I was laughing when you asked that question. So apparently he has a renewable energy company, solar company, and his problem is, yes, he's interested in making profit. He's interested in making sales, but he can't go lower than a certain price because that means he'll be running into deficit, right? And he was thinking, how can we make sure that people get this technology in their homes without breaking the bank? Because as it stands, it's like, upper middle class, they're still the ones who are able to afford these things. And, we're thinking, should there be like the loan sharks, people who loan money to people? So we're thinking like a model like, okay, there is a loan company and they go into, what's it called? Some sort of contractual agreement. And every month, people can pay a certain amount of money. So the loan shark pays off the solar company. And then whoever has gone into contract with them will say, okay, it's just like buying phones here in the UK or buying anything, basically. Every month, this is how much you pay back to the loan shark. And then he laughed and said, Nigerians are too smart for things like that. You might never see them again. But think about it.
Yeah, that's true.
This person is not going to run away with solar batteries. Are you getting it? You have solar panels on your roof. Are you going to really dismantle how many solar panels on your roof just because you want to run away from 100,000 naira every month, if that is the amount you have to pay back to them? So it works for what you're buying. It's not like a phone where you can just disappear. No. this is installed in your house and you're using it in your house, and there's an amount you pay monthly that doesn't break the bank, it just might work out. Now, if for any reason it just doesn't, and we started talking about, say, Nigeria doesn't have enough data for people to be held accountable like that, but it might not be true because we have the BVN. Now you begin to think, like when you sit down with the idea, like I said, you have to sit down with the idea. Nobody is too smart for everybody. No. If we sit down with it and know that if the person runs away and we have their BVN and we alert the bank, does it mean this person can never use their accounts again? Because one BVN is connected to all accounts that the person is using. Do you understand what I'm saying? If they need to open another account, they will need to use the same BVN. So is it worth it to, first of all, dismantle all the solar panels on your roof, run away with it, and you can't use your account? And are you getting the point I'm making? So you can now begin to think, if I talk to a data company, they might be able to run some data checks that can help a loan shark company to find their customers faster or make sure that their customers don't run away. You see how an idea can link to another idea, it can link to another idea that makes something feasible. We can say, okay, we're only dealing with employees of a particular sector. You can look at a sector that's a bit more stable, maybe government workers. Do you understand what I'm saying? People who work in ministry, doesn't have to be a ministry, people who work in government schools, who are like in long-term employment, whatever. And then they can say, okay, instead of, it has to be a direct debit kind of a thing. Okay, every so and so time of the month is a direct debit. We don't accept anything else. When you sit with these ideas, you will be shocked what you can come up with. I'm not generally in the space at the moment, but I'm sure that if you face the realities one-on-one, there might be something you can work with. You can talk to the loan sharks and say, how are you doing it currently? How do you chase your customers now? And they tell you, they say, when we started, it was this, but now it's like this. With that idea, you merge it with what you have and you keep thinking about it. Just keep thinking about it. In your shower, keep thinking about it. You can be walking down the street and it just clicks. That idea just clicks and you're like, oh my God, that's how it works. Yeah.
Okay, so that's really, really good actually. So I'm actually even thinking, aside even having the loan shark, is it possible to have like companies in Nigeria that produce these raw materials for like renewable energy things? That way, I feel like I don't know, because I'm trying to discover what actually is the cost of what's the actual reason for these things to be high. Is it the cost of material, cost of installation? So I'm just trying to think about all these things. So I'm wondering if we have like a company in Nigeria that can possibly produce these materials or something. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just really passionate about solving that renewable energy cost thing in Nigeria. And I've been thinking, and it doesn't really look realistic to an extent, but we'll see. That's just all.
Everything is realistic if you put your mind to it. Don't limit your mind. Yeah?
Okay.
Just sit with the idea. I've thought about it too, as you know, I'm in the renewable energy space. If we have these things why are we not producing them in Nigeria? Then you begin to look at other things we're not producing in Nigeria, like toothpick. We have all the trees, like pencil. We have a lead factory that's just not working. There are other things we can produce, like fuel, petrol. Why do we not produce these things in Nigeria? You see how we need more minds that ask questions, more curious people to say, what is going on? Why are we not able to do this? We need these minds in government, we need them in hospitals, we need them everywhere. Do you understand? Oh, it's not feasible, it's not true. It's because more people are not talking about it. When we have more people pushing for something, it works. And we can say, okay, it's because of this is expensive because of what's it called? Custom charges. The charges that the custom have placed on this is too much. Fine. What do we need? Can we source local? Are there local things we can source that can help? We begin to find alternative, because what if China says, oh, we're not exporting anymore? What happens? There has to be something we can do. Again, we have to sit with the idea. There are local things we can do to generate our own electricity that doesn't necessarily have to be solar panels. There are ways to do it. It doesn't have to be the advanced solar panels that we get from China. We can start from there. When we begin to even teach people how to do those local ones, we can begin to advance them. if you think about the war that happened in Nigeria, you can see how people began to develop their own bombs from things that they had. You didn't even know it was there until the necessity came for it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good. But the more you
Thank
think
you,
about it
Winifred.
and discuss it, you find answers to questions. Okay?
Okay. Yes, sorry, last one. Speaking about mentorship, I would like to follow you on LinkedIn. I'll appreciate if you follow me back right up.
I will do that. I accept everybody who tries to invite me on LinkedIn. I do that. But
Thank you
guys,
so much. Yeah.
I have to run. I really do have to run. I told them at work I'll be back before 4, and it's 15 minutes away, so I'm already late. David is asking, can you give practical step for approaching a potential mentor? Very tricky is workable. Can you give practical step for approaching a potential mentor? Oh, right, that's very interesting. Hmm, I mean, you have to be very patient with them. People have so much that they do. So when you ask questions, when you want advice, first of all, if you're very assertive, not assertive, that's not the word. If people say, oh, maybe try something like this, and you go, no, I'm not going to do that. Next time when you say, what do you think about something? They will be very reluctant to tell you anything. Now, even if you think what they're saying don't really make sense to you, there's something called emotional intelligence. Just say, oh, okay. Okay. What I would do is let me try it like this. If it doesn't work, I'll do it like this. Let's see how it goes. You have to be able to communicate in a space where everybody can talk to you. You have to be, people need to communicate with you and know that you're open-minded. They have to see that you're trying. So if once in a while you come up and then, no, they need to see that you're enthusiastic or passionate about something. Ask them questions, follow them up, right? Ask, ask questions. Make sure you're asking questions. And if you need to approach someone to be your mentor, it's as simple as just approaching them and saying, please, I'm new in this space. I would really like you to be my mentor. The person might misinterpret it, but the most they can say is no. And trust me, the answer is never no. Just say, I'm not going to bother you too much, but when I come across certain things and I need some clarity, I will have to be sending them to you. If you can connect with them on LinkedIn, that's fine. Don't push it too much. Just give it some time. By the time you've conversed with this person on LinkedIn, just say, okay, it can progress from there. I've known my mentor for 14 years. Yeah. So it can always progress from there. All I got the first day was a card, and I didn't see this person again for the next 2 years. But when I was going for my service, I called them. When I was going, I keep them updated on everything that I was doing. Whether I get a text back, I don't care. I was in uni. I was in the university. So it's a lifelong learning. That's why I called it lifelong learning. You have to follow up in that whole space. Do you understand? Follow up with the person. You can also get other mentors. That's fine. But you need that one person who listens to your progress, to your downfalls. Half the time, you need more emotional mentorship. I'm telling you, you need someone who says, okay, you failed at this, maybe try this other one. I have a contact of somebody who can do this, that wants to help you, that wants to see you grow, that wants to follow you up. Yeah? Right. They are calling me from work and I have to rush. Right.
Right.
I hope this was helpful for everyone who has logged in today. And please, if you have any more questions, send it to Modesty. I will also, okay, I might have to share my email if you prefer sending it to me.
Thank you very much, Winifred, for this
Yeah.
amazing presentation. Thank you. So before we go, I know that we just have a minute. We have some opportunities that are currently ongoing. So the COP29 is next week. It starts on Monday. So there's a link to like get a certification on like just basically teaching you what it's about, how they make their decisions, how they make their policies during the COP29. So after the course, you get like a certificate. So the link to the course will be put on the chat box if you can just copy from there. And also, there's also a link to get some courses. You get certificates also from the courses, free courses on sustainability, on climate change, on just different aspects of sustainability. So the link should go up any moment now. And yes, you can follow us on LinkedIn as Sustainability Z. And we have some of our videos from our past webinars that have been uploaded rather on YouTube. Sustainability Z also is our YouTube handle and our YouTube name. We have a link tree QR code you can scan. I would share my screen or try to share my screen for the link tree link. Okay, I don't think I'm able to do that currently, but you can just follow us and you can follow her on LinkedIn at Winifred Owuna. Yes, so thank you very much for attending, and the links. Okay, and the links have been put to the chat box. Have been put to the chat box. So you can just copy and paste it somewhere else. Okay, it's not showing. So I'll have to resend it. Just give me a minute, please. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so the sent is for the COP29 for this year, so you can take the course. And then the second one, the second link that's being sent now is for the course catalog you can also do. So the two links have been sent. So thank you very much for joining us today. We are very grateful, and we hope that everything you have heard will be able to motivate you to be leaders in your space, to come up with creative ideas and creative ways to make sustainable innovations. She explained sustainable innovations as she began her presentation, and she said it's something that you use to change ways, change things to become better, like in a better way. So thank you very much for joining us. And I hope that we'll see you in our next webinar. And I hope that this has been able to encourage you also. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you.